wet weather squarely in the forecast this afternoon in Santa Clara, California at Levi's Stadium. Seems like we were just starting training camp, but here we are in October, and off we go on EA Sports. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, kind of a costly one, as he won't make it back to the 20.
Cougar 19! Alert! Alert! Hurt! Hurt! Set go!
First carry of the game for Christian McCaffrey. The game's first play produces 6 yards, brings up second down. Charles, they won last week despite him not running the ball well. They told us need to get him going. Runs like that help.
And they talked to us about leaning on him because, as you noted, last week they didn't have to. Still won the ball game and leaned on other people to give them the yardage that they needed. But they really want him to be that guy, and that's what they're doing early in this game.
13 yards there and a Niner first.
For a lot of guys playing this game, there's no better feeling than running right through a tackle. He's able to lower his center of gravity and churn his legs for a really nice pickup.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Let's go now. Go.
Again, they run. Again, it's McCaffrey. And space tough to come by there as he'll get maybe a yard to the 37. The Niners at a perfect 4-0 to start the campaign. They've been playing their best football of the year, winners of 4 in a row.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
And a 6-yard gain gets them right around the 43. Well, this defense for the Falcons, they were terrific a week ago in the win over Seattle.
Yeah, and what stood out to me on tape, the way they were flying to the football. So that tells me that they've got all their assignments down, and they're playing with extreme confidence.
Able to find the open man. That's complete. Touchdown, 49ers. Juwan Jennings, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Niners will jump on top with the game's first score here this afternoon. A good hold in these wet conditions. The point after is up and good, and it's now a 7-0 game. Here is Wisnowski to boot it away following the touchdown. And no run back forthcoming, so this will come out to the 30.
Ready up. Lion. Shut up.
A run for the first time with Bijan Robinson. Oh, and now some space to operate. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll bring up a second and just about a few inches here.
Ready.
Robinson on a give right side. Only a gain of a yard, but that's all they needed.
I know what you're thinking out there. I know a lot of you are thinking, take a shot downfield. It's a great spot for it. I'd say maybe later in the game, definitely in the second half. But right now, I think they were just trying to get some momentum built. Get a first down, pick it up, and keep moving.
And that one too far in front. He couldn't reel it in. It's incomplete. Darnell Mooney, the target there. And that'll bring up second down. You look at this Niner defense. Against the pass, they've had some issues. Ranked number 23 in the NFL right now.
When they lack in pass defense, they do make up for it in run defense. They're a top 10 unit against some people trying to move the ball on the ground. But this is a passing league. So there's a conundrum for them. How do they get better defending the pass?
So here's a 3rd and 14.
Stephanie. 19 Lion. 60 Bobcat. 60 Bobcat. Buffalo 18.
To the air, Penix. Dancing to his left. And that is incomplete.
Brandon, watching their tape from last week, I saw plenty of plays like we just saw there, forcing incompletions. It was key in their win last week. They're hoping the same thing happens this time out, too.
The call for a fair catch, and it's made at about the 23-yard line. 37 yards on the punt with no return. And the Niners will go on offense.
Okay,
First
ready?
and 10. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway.
Check go.
Purdy looking to throw. That's complete. It's Brandon Ayuk. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. So they'll get 8 out of that completion. And they'll be left with second and a couple.
Here we go. Here we go. 19 tight. 19 tight. Hey, smash. Hut, hut.
They go play action here. Purdy. The first catch of the game for George Kittle. And he's going to be knocked down hard at the end of that one.
Someone sharp in this game. I mean, a touchdown pass on the first drive and comes right back, and he's flinging it around really well here.
Really nice throw there to pick up the first down. You kind of just feel a laser focus and confidence about him, and I think we saw that this week, didn't we? Talking to him and the coaches, they felt good about his performance. And across the chalk, into the end zone, it's a 49er touchdown. Jerron Jennings with his second touchdown of the game, 4th of the year. And the 49ers are off to a 13-0 first quarter lead. Here is Wisnowski to boot it away following the touchdown. And not willing to risk a return. This ball's going to come out to the 30-yard line. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. They find themselves in a good-sized hole here, and a good-sized hole early on in this game as they come up on first down. Looking deep here for Mooney. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's second down. You look at this Niner defense. They are number 2 in the NFL against the run right now, Charles.
Now, if they could just get their pass defense in line, this unit would be really, really strong. And remember the conversation with the defensive coordinator? He wants them to rush the passer better. He wants to see the quarterback on the ground. They've got to create some sacks.
And he said it starts early and often. We'll see if they can get to him. Operating from the gun, Penix. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. 19 yards to pick up there. Move the chains.
79 Broncos. Let's go now.
Looking to throw, Penix. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Robinson. And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. That's a gain of 31 with right around 1 minute to go in the quarter.
Seems like all the fireworks in this first quarter have been on the other sideline, but here they're saying, hey, we've got some explosive guys on our side too. And that's a big play in a game that's looking like it might be full of big plays.
Go! 18 Rattler, 18 Rattler, 70 Timberwolf. Ready?
Here's Penix. Buying time to his left. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
One thing that you're going to see from this offense is that they love the matchup with their wide receivers against this secondary. That one wasn't successful, but don't expect them to back away from attacking all game long.
After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20.
Dragon 60.
Throwing again, Penix. Under pressure, and he'll go down. Sacked back at the 31.
60 Eagle, 19 Lion. 60 Bobcat, 60 Bobcat.
13-0 is the score after 1 on EA Sports. Second quarter now, Falcon football, as they've got it with a 3rd down and long coming up.
70 Lion. Shut up. Buffalo 18. Mustang 19. 19 tight.
Penix working out of the gun here. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
Well, how about the coverage we just saw break out on third down? Dime defense, blanketed the field with extra defensive backs and speed, unable to find an open hole to complete that pass.
Oh, nope, never had a chance. Well to the right, no good. And the deficit will hold pat at 13.
Now, if this was a clear day in September, I'd say this is well within his range. I'd feel very confident about this kick, but let's be honest about it. In these elements, the difficulty level gets ratcheted up by at least a factor of 5.
And he's got his man in stride, complete. The result, only 4 yards there on the play, and it's second down.
It's vitally important to wrap him up immediately, because if you let that big guy get a head of steam up, boy, then you've got real trouble trying to get him down.
But they're able to hold him to a short gain on first down. And able to work about 5 yards out of this as he's taken down up near the 47.
I think we can safely say that those types of plays are the backbone of this offense. We know not every run's going to be a big hitter, but you know they'll take that type of result on each and every attempt.
Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. And that one was relatively easy to see. I noticed that from up here.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it? Sometimes you get multiples. What I always love on these offsides is when each side points at the other. Hey, you did it. No, you did it. They deciphered that one correctly.
Purdy now to throw. That's caught out right by Jennings. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. They picked up 5 yards last time. Now they double it and get 10 here. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Purdy will set up to throw it here. Oh, he'll take a shot from McCaffrey downfield. Touchdown, 49ers. Christian McCaffrey. 38 yards, and the Niners are able to extend their lead. Purdy and the Niner offense, they'll stay on the field. They'll try to go for 2 here. They'll try and throw for it. And he's got it. So the try for 2 successful, and that bumps their lead up even further. Here is Wisnowski to boot it away following the touchdown. Returning from his end zone is Ray McCloud. And they'll have good field position here as he's out of bounds up at about the 34-yard line. The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. Well, CD, you kind of feel like they're in a bit of a danger zone right here because now you're down 3 scores, and I know we're in the first half, but the way this offense hasn't been able to generate anything, you feel like they probably need to get something going on this drive, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I overuse that this is an important possession, but I think this has to be the possession where they come up with an answer because only a few teams in league history have ever come back from a 4-score deficit, and if they don't score here, that's what they could be facing the next time they get the ball.
3rd and 3.
60 Maverick, 60 Maverick, Warriors 70. Ready?
Now Penix. This ball down the field for Pitts. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Fred Warner. And the 49ers are going to get this back to their own 34-yard line. CD, I know it's just his 2nd year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, 2nd year, as you noted, on-the-job training, so he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
Oh, a first mistake for him in the ball game as it's intercepted. And the Falcons are going to get the football here as he gets this up to the 38-yard line. So really the first speed bump that this offense has encountered. They'd had the rule of the roost here in this first half, but now slowed up just a bit by the interception.
And there's a chance that that's a wake-up call for them because you don't want to go on autopilot too early. That team on defense is capable of making some plays similar to the one they made right there.
And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
Good yardage there on first down. Exactly what you want. Get yourself set up to keep making first downs, keep the clock running. And if they're smart, you're starting to milk the clock. No hurry before you run your second down play.
They'll throw with Penix. That's into the hands of Pitts, the tight end. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. Second catch for him today, and it'll wind up a first down.
Now that's the kind of big play you'd like to see. This first half, it hasn't gone their way, and they could use a shot in the arm, something to perk them up a bit. And they get one here in the passing game.
And looking to throw, Penix. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone. So another incompletion there. He's hitting on fewer than half his pass attempts in this one, and that is not a winning formula.
Yeah, so let's make sure we give a little bit of credit to the defense here. They're giving him a lot to think about, a lot of different looks, and he seems a little bit confused trying to complete passes.
He'll try again with the arm here on second down. And he drops it incomplete, and their struggles continue here.
Well, that one was all about the defender making life difficult for the receiver. Very tough for a guy to hold on to the football through all that contact. He ends up forcing the incompletion.
The offense on third down, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 10.
Set up. 19 Lions. 60 Bobcats. 60 Bobcats. Set up.
They'll try to throw again. Here's Penix. He wants it all for the end zone. And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. Drake London, 38 yards. And the Falcons get a bit closer. Extra point by Koo, up and good. And they'll cut the lead to 21-7. Following the touchdown now, it's Bradley Pinion on to kick this one away. And we will not have a return. They'll bring this to the 30. The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive. And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive, because remember last time out, they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this defense keep building any more momentum. They're playing awfully well, and they're awfully confident right now. To me, it's time to attack and take some of that momentum back. But make sure you're selective in doing so. Understand where you want to throw the football and make sure it's open before the ball leaves your hands.
Being chased out left. And a big loss here as he's taken down. The defense rising to the challenge and setting him back on the sack. Oh, a tough situation to overcome here. 3rd and 17. And Purdy, he's going to shift him around into something else.
Mustang 19. 19 tight. 19 tight. Ready.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He's going to rifle one deep left side. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off by A.J. Terrell. He's on his way. And a terrific return as he takes this thing all the way down near the 20-yard line.
And I think this is a situation where a quarterback coach on the sideline is going to talk to a signal caller and say, listen, it's 3rd and long, and it's still early in the game. Let's not force things here. If we don't feel good about it, let's just check something down and punt the football.
70 Rangers. 70 Rangers. 18 Cardinal. 18 Cardinal. Let's go.
On 1st and 10, it's Robinson. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. The 49ers now going to use the first of their timeouts. as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this first half.
Here we go, here we go. Trap 60, trap 60. 7 Pirates, 7 Pirates. Hot go. Let go.
On third down, he'll drop to throw. He's got his pass-catching tight end. That's Pitts. And he is into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. Kyle Pitts, an 18-yard touchdown grab. And the Falcons get a late score here in the final minute of the first half. Koo able to connect on the extra point. And they're back within a touchdown at 21-14. Now Pinion with the kickoff honors following the touchdown. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And with a 7-point lead, they'll likely look to take this to the locker room and not really press the issue. Trying to shake off the interception, he'll look to throw. Open man, the former Gator, it's Ricky Pearsall. Now San Francisco going to call their second timeout as they stop it with 19 seconds to go in half number 1.
Warriors 70, Panther 11, Panther 11. Say, hey. Go.
Back to throw, Purdy. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up. Not that time. Here's Purdy. He'll fire this deep for Ayuk. And this is caught on the sideline. And he gets out of bounds as well. How about that? A big play there just before halftime. 47 yards. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. Purdy sets up to throw again. And he just throws this one away. Smart decision here this close to the end zone, and it brings up 2nd down. So with 2 ticks left here in the half, on is the field goal unit. And this one is right through. And that will do it for this first half. That's it for the first half. 2 more quarters to go. We'll have plenty more to see after the break. Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. From his end zone, here comes Agnew. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. This offense, Charles, had a strong first half throwing the football, at least in terms of yardage, but that hasn't He's got a man, complete. Look at the big fella go. Touchdown, Falcons. Kyle Pitts, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Falcons come right out of the locker room and score here in the opening minute of the 3rd quarter. 1 play, 80 yards. Pretty easy drive to recap.
It certainly is, but not so easy to execute. Starting on your own 20, you want something to kickstart your drive and get it off to a nice start. They went for the whole thing and got it. That's a great way to send a message to the opposing team.
And following the touchdown now, it's Bradley Pinion on to kick this one away. And no chance to see a return on the dynamic kickoff. They'll move this out to the 30-yard line.
On the ready.
The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive. But Charles, they still have the lead despite their defense giving up a touchdown on the previous possession. And even though they have that lead, it feels like a back-and-forth ball game where to try to get momentum back, maybe they need at least 3 here on this drive.
I think you're right about that, Brandon, because your game plan doesn't change. I do believe your urgency does because of the last score that went against your team. So what you want to do now is have your own drive and try and make sure that that momentum stays in your camp.
On first down, this is McCaffrey. Knifes his way forward here, but just 3 yards on the play. Second down. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
Connects with Kittle underneath. And out of bounds right around the 20. That one a first down pickup of 8.
79 Broncos. Cup 19. Cup 19. 18 Rattler. 18 Rattler. Take over.
Purdy. Oh, hit as he throws there. Incomplete. They don't get the hookup there, but you really have to marvel at how precise he's been throwing the football these last couple of weeks.
Oh, that's a perfect word for it, precise, because if you're at 70% or better 2 weeks in a row, you have a job as long as you want one in this league, won't you? I mean, let's face it, it's not just West Coast offense either. He's putting the ball downfield as well.
He's been big. 2 touchdowns earlier. Now he's got a first down here.
Go street. 60 Bobcat. 60 Bobcat. Hut, hut.
Shotgun now with Purdy. And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far. And the Falcons are going to take over once again, and they'll have it at their own 8-yard line. So this offense moving the ball well, trying to open up a 2-score lead here in the 3rd quarter, but now potentially a play that could have big ramifications.
Yeah, you've driven the ball down the field. Things are looking up, but it takes just one bad decision to throw things off the rails.
The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. To the air, Penix looking for London on the out route complete. And out of bounds across the 15-yard line. That'll give them 8 that time, and that'll bring up a second down in just a couple. Back to throw here. And this will be caught by Mooney. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. A first down there on a pickup of 25.
And as a quarterback, you always want to exploit gaps in the defense, and he finds one here. Crossing route, working from right to left across the field. And once you get defenders going in the wrong direction, it is awfully hard for them to pivot back, and you end up getting the first down.
2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. From the shotgun, it's Penix. Targeting Pitts on the out route, and he's got it complete. And this will move the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the 49ers' 41-yard line. 5th catch of the afternoon, and that gives him a first down. A give to Robinson on the option. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
I have to think a major focus of the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the first level, make sure that block's secure before they slide off and try and chip someone at the second level.
Looking to throw, Penix. His throw incomplete. Not sure what happened out there, but it looked like the timing was a little off on that throw.
Well, you know I'm a defender, so what am I going to say?
Great defense.
And darn right. They did something to disrupt that timing.
Let's go now. 7 Pirates, 19 Tiger, 19 Tiger. Ready?
On third down, Robinson. And now Robinson coughs up the football. It's loose. And they're going to be set up down around the 15-yard line.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. And they get to him quickly here as he's stopped right around the 13. Yetur Gross-Matos there to bring him down. He really hasn't been able to get on track running the football, averaging less than 4 yards a carry.
Yeah, I think that they're going to enjoy the film session because all the defenders are filling their proper gaps on just about every play. And you know what they always say for a defensive coach? When I click off this film, I better see 11 jerseys in the picture going after the ball carrier.
So 8 yards on the completion there, and that'll bring up what looks to be a third and inches. Can't be more than a half a foot. Operating from the gun, Penix. All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. And now nothing but green ahead of him. And into the end zone. A pick six for the 49er D as they score the touchdown. So what a turn of events there. You're driving to take the lead in this third quarter, but then one mistake, and you're watching the ball being returned for a touchdown.
Certainly a great example of how focus has to be there on every play, doesn't it, partner? You can't get complacent, and I think that he did. He's got him moving downfield, but that's a play where he just shouldn't have thrown the football, and that ultimately could wind up costing him the ball game.
And no run back here. That's going to be a touchback, and we'll bring it out to the 30-yard line. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. Then you wonder, I mean, is it even possible, especially for the quarterback, to mentally reset after that quick of a turnaround?
Well, we're certainly going to find.
And this will be caught at the 30. And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. Jerry Jeudy, his first touchdown on the year. And the Falcons are able to get a score back in the final stages of this third quarter. Now Younghoe Koo for the extra point. And the lead is down to a field goal now. Now Pinion with the kickoff honors following the touchdown. And no run back forthcoming, so this will come out to the 30. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And they've got the lead here getting late into the third quarter. And the passing game for them, it's been terrific. We've seen that, but the rushing game almost non-existent.
And with the lead and trying to finish this game off, they need the running game to come back to life. They need to get sparked that way, take some time off the clock, and keep the ball away from their opponents.
Ball on the 39. Here's second down and a yard. Off the option, here's McCaffrey. And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he'll be out of bounds up near the 45 at the 44. I'll tell you, far from ideal conditions to play in, but neither offense has had much trouble. Plenty of points to go around. First and 10. Now Purdy, he's going to change the look here. The 49ers now going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this.
Cardinal, 18 Cardinal. Panther 11, Panther. Ready, ready?
Purdy looking to throw. Looking deep for Jennings. And his pass is intercepted for the fourth time today. And the Falcons are right back in this football game. A seismic shift in momentum here in the fourth quarter. That's the break that the defense needed.
And you know as well as I do, people are going to question the play call in that situation. Sometimes you have to question the execution, not necessarily the call. And in this case, those defenders found a way to give their team a chance.
The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. A golden opportunity for them now following the interception. They need to try to at least get 3. Obviously, a touchdown puts them in a much more secure position. Escaping the pressure, and he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. So now 20 yards to go on second down after the sack. Work to be done. Here's Penix. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's third down.
Here we go. Here we go. Tracking 60. 19 light. 60 Bobcat. 60 Bobcat. Hut, hut.
Looking to throw. That's to the right sideline, and it falls incomplete.
How about some applause for the defense there? They forced him to throw that one into coverage, and just like that, they're staring at a fourth down. Well done.
The punt team on now as Pinion sends this one away. Muscles him off. This will be a 41-yard punt, 3 on the return. And they will take over first and 10. The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive. Their defense got the stop, forced the punt, and now you really start to monitor the clock as they nurse this slim lead. And he's going to have a Niners first down as he gets us up past the 30 to the 32. From the 32 now, here's first and 10.
Hey, hey, check that, check that.
They stay on the ground, McCaffrey again. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up. I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
It'll go down as a 2-yard loss, and it brings up a third down.
Now, obviously, that's some good work there defensively, being able to stop them and bring it up a key third down. But if you're on the offensive side of the ball, there's an opportunity, because I know what defensive guys are thinking right now. Just stop them, get to the ball. That means they might not be sound defensively. There could be some opportunities.
And you said key third down. Highlight that word, put it in bold. Here we go. So 2 first downs, and that moves the ball to the 42 now, first and 10. They'll try and burn some clock now with McCaffrey. 48 yards rushing for him now in the ball game. Well, at this stage, that's exactly what you want offensively. Good run on first down, stay in bounds, keep that clock rolling.
And look at that play chart that the play caller has in his hands right now. That's what you got to focus in on, because that's divided up by sections. And right now, he's looking at that 4-minute offense section. What running plays do we have to bleed down the clock and take care of the football? Right now, they're executing really well.
3 points separating these two sides with 2 minutes left to go in the fourth. This a big play for both sides. What will we see here? 3rd and 4. Now Purdy. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, San Francisco. Ricky Pearsall, 52 yards. And the Niners use the big play to extend their fourth quarter lead. Moody good with the extra point, and his guys will take a 10-point lead. Here is Wisnowski to boot it away following the touchdown. not willing to risk a return. This ball's going to come out to the 30-yard line. This is 1st and 10.
7 Pirates, 7 Pirates. 60 Mavericks, 60 Mavericks. Check out.
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. He's got Mooney. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. All 3 timeouts remain, but they've got to score quick. It's 1st and 10.
Warriors 70, Panther 11, Panther 11. Hut, hut.
Now Penix. And the Niners get there and bring him down. Credit the sack to Fred Warner. Here's 2nd down.
Panther 60, Panther 60. Sack. Go.
They'll throw with Penix. That's caught by Pitts. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds.
And coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there. And how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end. Let him get some rack.
Yeah, when he gets moving, not many guys want to come over and put a hit on him, do they?
18 Rattler, 18 Rattler. Dragon 60.
And looking to throw, Penix. That's to the sideline and incomplete.
That means it's just one last chance left, and this has to be a 1st down or a touchdown, or this game's over.
The decision made for them. They've got to go. It's 4th down.
19 Lions. 60 Bobcats, 60 Bobcats. Buffalo 18. Hut.
On the bootleg, it's Penix. Eluding the pressure right. And out of bounds on the other side of midfield at the 45. They keep the game alive, at least for the moment, as it's a 1st down.
Set. Mustang 19. Ready.
They'll set up a throw. That one deep for London. And it's intercepted at the goal line. And the Niners are going to take over at their own 13-yard line. Boy, so another interception, CD, and it feels like he's starting to unravel a little bit.
And as you would expect, still a work in progress here in his 2nd season. He has to start ironing out some of these mistakes, though, because now his head coach, his offensive coaches, they have to evaluate whether you keep playing him and let him work through it, or you start thinking about going to his backup.
We've got to have 2 hands on the football here as they run on 1st down. Oh, an absolutely filthy juke. He's got some space now. And he's going to be ridden out of bounds down inside the 25. 112 yards rushing on 12 carries for him now. So barely time to catch our breath. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the red zone. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down. So the victory here for